These flashlights don't get talked about nearly often enough. This is the Convoy T3 and T4. I really wanted to share these with you because these are high quality yet affordable flashlights which have dual fuel drivers, allowing them to use either high performance lithium-ion 14500s or standard AA's. They're great flashlights in their own right, but they are very versatile. And when you couple all of that with their super low price, I think these are like perfect for an extra, again, backup flashlight that you might store anywhere, in a desk, in a drawer, in a car, in a backpack. I know a lot of people like to do that, and I think that these are the ideal flashlight for that use case. And they're also just great flashlights. If you want to get into the world of enthusiast or more interesting flashlights, this is a really great low cost, but still very functional way to do that. So I'm going to show you all of the reasons that these are great. So both of these lights do have a single Nietzsche 519A LED, and the specific output is going to depend on the batteries used. So of course, lithium-ion 14500 is going to be the brightest option by far. On the T3, this single cell light, I got just under 490 lumens. And on the larger T4, I got just over 1000 lumens. If I switch to Eneloops or lithium primaries, I got basically the same output between the two. This T3 gave me 190 lumens, and then the T4 gave me just over 400. So you can see that this larger light is actually a little more than twice as bright as the smaller one. I was really satisfied with the output on both of these, regardless of the batteries being used. So when we look at the output runtime graphs for these guys, we can see that they actually perform quite well. So the Convoy T3 starts at a really high level when you run it off of a 14500, and it drops fairly quickly. It ends up dying out at about 55 minutes. Which is pretty solid considering it sustains over 350 lumens. Meanwhile, the Eneloop at 100% sustains 180 lumens the entire run, does a very good job, dies just over an hour. And then the lithium primary slopes off a little bit, but it lasts about twice as long as the Eneloop. At 20%, we see the lithium ion is again significantly brighter, but runs over 220 minutes. Meanwhile, the Eneloop and lithium primary both sustain the same level, but the primary lasts almost twice as long as the Eneloop. Then when we look at the T4, we get a pretty similar story. So the lithium ion starts significantly higher, but it doesn't run as long because it's being pushed harder. And then at 100%, the lithium primary lasts about twice as long as the Eneloop. So again, performance is overall pretty solid for both of these. If you're regularly using these lights, I definitely think you should use lithium-ion 14500 batteries because they're going to be a lot brighter and they're going to give you better performance, and of course they're rechargeable. They're just really good batteries overall, much better than other AA's. However, if you're using the light only occasionally, say it sits in a drawer, on a desk, or in a toolbox, and maybe it goes through periods of regular use, maybe it'll sit there for a long time, I do think Eneloops are the way to go because they have super low self-drain, so it's not going to just be dead if you leave it there for like a year or something. They still perform well, they don't leak, and they're rechargeable. And then what's most interesting to me, honestly, are lithium primary batteries. So if you're not going to be using this light very often, say it's going to be stored somewhere, potentially for a very long time, and or these lights are going to be used in extreme temperatures, that's when you want to use lithium primary cells because they have a super low self-drain. So you could literally not touch it for like 10 years and it would still have charge. But they also can handle those extreme temperatures. And on top of that, they have much better performance than other AA's. They have about twice the charge, as you saw, twice the charge as the Eneloop on the long runtime test. And they perform way, way better than alkalines. So the ones I recommend, really the only ones, are the Energizer Ultimate Lithiums. These are great batteries. They are disposable cells, and they are expensive. So if you're going to be using the light regularly, I do not recommend lithium primaries. Lithium primaries are definitely the way to go for kind of that specific use case where maybe it's being stored for a very long time and it might see some huge temperature fluctuations. So I think they're amazing for that use case, but otherwise I would stick to the Eneloops. And then of course you have the option for alkalines. I never recommend buying alkalines and using them. I think they're terrible all around. They don't perform as well as the other options. They're disposable, they leak, they're just not very good. However, the fact that you can use these is really great. Finally, one last concern I want to talk about with the T4 is the fact that this uses 2 batteries in series. So if you're using lithium-ion 14500s, first off, I recommend using protected cells, not unprotected cells. But second, you should use a matched pair of cells. So buy 2 batteries, use and charge them together and exclusively for this light. Being convoy lights, they are available with a variety of different LEDs. I picked the Nichia 519A for both of these because I think it's just a very well-rounded, good general purpose LED. And the beam quality on both of these is very good. The T4 is a little bit throwier, but surprisingly not much. They actually have a very similar beam pattern, which is to say it's a good balanced general use beam. It provides nice flood area illumination and a pretty decently punchy hotspot. Yeah, I quite like the beam. I think it's just a very good all-rounder. And of course, being 519A, the color is excellent. I generally would just recommend this LED because it's great. You can also get the 219B in this smaller one, which I think is a solid option as well. And if you wanted more throw, I think getting the SST20 in this flashlight would be a pretty great option actually. But you will lose some output if you do that. Now, some people have mentioned the fact that the T3 is kind of on the large size for a single 14500 light. These are some other 14500 lights, and you can see they definitely are smaller. However, I don't think it's a huge difference, and there's also a big price difference here. So, like, this light is $50 and the Convoy is $15, so I don't consider that an issue with this light. As far as the T4 goes, I actually really love the design and ergonomics of this light. I think it feels great in the hand. Kind of just a subjective thing, but I do really love that about this light. Another very minor issue with the T3 is the pocket clip. It's just a very kind of thin, flimsy thing. When I got mine, it was kind of bent, and so it's like really easy to pop off of the body. It's just not a very good pocket clip. Not an issue to me, but if this is going to be an EDC flashlight for you, you may want to find a better one. Another huge reason that these are great for that kind of emergency or backup flashlight role is their reliability. For one, they have a very simple design, right? Like, it's just the classic tube, basically, with batteries, a button, and an LED. It's kind of hard to get it wrong. You just press the button, turn it on and off. Very simple. You can use any AA's in here. It's very simple and easy to use, but it's also well built and quite durable. Even though it's inexpensive, the quality on these is great. Like, I have no concerns about this longevity-wise or reliability-wise. These are just great, trustable flashlights, and I think that's very valuable. And as a bonus, you can get these in a variety of colors. I just really like to have brightly colored flashlights because it makes them a lot easier to find in the dark, or I don't know, if you stick it in a drawer somewhere. The T3 actually has a glow-in-the-dark O-ring in the front bezel. So when you use it and then you turn it off, the front will glow, which makes it easy to find in the dark, and that's a nice thing as well. The interface on these is really great, I think, especially again for this application. The basic interface is very simple and easy to use. It's a reverse clicky, so you just press the button and click it again to turn it on and off. Very simple. If you do a half press, it will cycle through the modes. And that's it, really. I think that's a very easy and intuitive system. It's going to be very quick to figure out if you hand it to somebody. Now, there is a way to change the mode groups and the settings on this flashlight. In order to do so, it does require kind of a complex sequence of button presses, which I think is good because it prevents you from doing that accidentally. You're not going to do it accidentally. It's actually kind of difficult. The downside is that it's a little tricky to figure out how to do it the first time around. Once you do, though, I think it's easy enough, and you probably only have to set it one time anyway. In the description, I will link, of course, the product pages for both of these lights, but the product page does include good instructions for how to do this. But honestly, most people, you probably don't even have to worry about that at all because the default configuration is very good. You get like 5 modes and mode memory. Yeah, interface, great on these. Finally, the last reason that I love these lights, why I think they're great for that application and why they're easy to recommend, is the price. So I already mentioned they're very inexpensive. This one is $15. This one is about $20. Now, depending on the options, the price can go up from there. But also, the actual Convoy store is based on AliExpress, and they do give out like coupons and stuff all the time, so you can probably get these for even less. Now, being on AliExpress is also kind of a downside for some people because a lot of people might be afraid of AliExpress. I have no problems ordering off of that site. I've never had an issue. And the Convoy store, which I will link below, is the legit place to buy these. That is the source for these. And the guy who makes these, he goes by Simon. He's very responsive if you have any questions, and he can even do like modifications if you have like certain configurations that you want that might not be listed, he can probably do those for you. Just message him on AliExpress. They have a messaging thing on their website. He's very good at communicating. They also have good customer service. But be aware that you are ordering these lights from China. So like you're not going to get the same kind of warranty that you are like if you're in the US buying an American light. Just be aware of that. So again, if you're looking for an inexpensive, high quality dual fuel option, I think either of these lights are the way to go. They're both very good. Now, I already mentioned these guys up here. I'll pull them down again. These are some other very good dual fuel lights as well, some of my favorites. I've got this little ace beam light. This one includes a 14500 with a USB charger. Is dual fuel, it's very good as well. The Skill Hunt M150 V3. This is a very good little 519A equipped dual fuel light. Great light. MSR D3AA. This one is pretty new. These are all really great lights. I like them a lot, but they're just kind of expensive compared to the 15 bucks for the T3. And that's really kind of what makes this one so great. It's just so cheap. Likewise with the T4, it's only $5 more. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I love both of these lights. I think they're great. I'm going to link them down in the description below. I was not paid to do this video by Convoy or anything. This is really just my own opinion. We just bought these lights for this video. I'm definitely going to be keeping both of these as backup lights like I explained. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, if you're interested in more videos about any other kinds of flashlights, we have a bunch of them. We're also going to be doing some battery tests that compare all of these different types of batteries. So stay tuned if you want to see that.